We've been living through an extremely challenging year with the stress and restrictions brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet in all of this, we've seen God's faithfulness in growing His church and bringing stability in the middle of instability around us. We want to thank you for your faithfulness in giving and serving during this time of uncertainty. Through your obedience in serving and giving, our church has weathered the storm of COVID-19. Thank you. Every December, we raise funds to further the mission at Sunrise Church. In our annual budget, our leadership team and AGM approved raising $55,000 over and above our regular monthly giving. We recognize that this year has brought specific challenges in employment, finances, and health. With these challenges in mind, we want our Christmas Giving Challenge to focus on projects that benefit our community locally and abroad. Our elders have approved the following projects to further the mission at Sunrise through leadership development and mission and evangelism.
Leaders are crucial to the furtherance of God's kingdom. From the inception of Sunrise, leadership development has always been a focus, and it continues to be. This year, one of the founders of Sunrise, Gordon White, passed away and went to be with the Lord. Gordon loved learning and study. He was an amazing follower of Jesus and served him throughout his life. Gordon was and still is an inspiration to many. Through his inspiration, we want to see more leaders developed for the kingdom. With this in mind, we are creating a Founders Scholarship to sponsor young leaders to develop their leadership giftings for the kingdom of God. This scholarship will invest into leaders for leadership training and biblical and theological development through leadership development programs such as Arrow Leadership or EPIC, theological development from institutions such as Eston College, PLBC, or OBC, church planting assessments, credentialing with ACOP, attending regional and national conferences as well as church planting conferences, and monthly support while in development. We have a target of $20,000 to create this scholarship that will equip leaders to see God's kingdom move forward and Sunrise multiplied.
Our church has been involved in supporting several works in African nations for well over 10 years. Hundreds of orphans have received care. Many churches and other buildings have been constructed. In late 2018, our orphan care projects in Zimbabwe began to prioritize a central development project in hopes of providing sustainability through Lafordia Farm. We've invested in fencing, boreholes, accommodations for workers, and supplies to ensure this farm can produce enough harvest to begin sustaining the orphans at each center. We want to see the ministry outlive our investment. So this Christmas, we're challenging you to give so that our Zimbabwean friends can purchase 2 additional greenhouses, an incubator, and solar supplies for incubating over 4,500 eggs. Lafordia Farm will aid in the support of over 700 orphans in Zimbabwe, and you can contribute to that work. In addition to this work in Zimbabwe, we want to invest into the further development of the Orphan Care Center in Mozambique, where Simon and his team care for about 45 orphans. We will invest into the development of their land to increase the productivity of the farm so they can be financially sustainable in the future. The cost of these 3 projects is $20,000. But will have an impact much greater than the initial investment. Your generosity in contributing into these projects will undoubtedly impact lives of many children and families for years to come.
Human trafficking is a worldwide problem. While we may often think of it as a problem far off in other parts of the world, human trafficking affects lives here in Surrey, in our region, and across Canada. We have partnered with The Intersection, a local fair trade business, to support their efforts against human trafficking in our region and around the globe.
My name is Dane, and together with my wife Megan, we own The Intersection Fair Trade. So The Intersection began in 2010. We went on a trip to Africa and met some groups who were making beautiful products but had no market for their goods. And that was kind of the transition point for us to want to try and provide a platform for people to sell their goods overseas, people who had great products but had nowhere to sell them. Over time, The Intersection has evolved and developed, and we've tried to narrow our focus down to focus focus on buying from groups who are rescuing survivors of trafficking. So our goals with human trafficking, the first is to support local groups who are engaged in anti-trafficking and in aftercare. We want to support what they're doing and work alongside them for job creation. One of our other goals is to continue to support groups overseas who are rescuing trafficking victims, and that can look like buying their products. Also be able to provide education and awareness around the issues of human trafficking. There's not a lot of people talking about what's going on and how we can be involved, and so that's one of our goals as the intersection, is to kind of address some of that as well. We also would like to start doing some of the aftercare ourselves. We want to purchase some screen printing equipment, and we'd like to start with having one woman come who's been through one of the aftercare programs with one of our local partners, and working with her and training her and providing her with a job so they can continue on in their journey of restoration.
This expansion of business to include in-house printing will allow them to begin the dream of workplace training for survivors of trafficking. This will also provide a means to purchase larger volumes of clothing from some of their partners who are also employing survivors of trafficking. By raising this $14,000, we will be supporting them well into the future to continue to impact lives touched by the horrors of human trafficking.
Our community is in need of support this Christmas season. Part of our faith is to meet the practical needs within our community that have risen in this time. We also desire to be a church present in the community, known for being the hands and the feet of Jesus. That is why this season we will provide food hampers for families who are in need through the Adopt a School program. We are adopting Martha Curry School, located in Cloverdale, where the teachers and the admin will identify key families who need an extra blessing this Christmas season. As Christians, we understand that we've received the greatest gift, Jesus. And through this, we can now live as a gift to our community this Christmas season.
Again, thank you so much for your giving and serving in this time of uncertainty. And as we come to this December, we challenge you to give over and above to see the mission of Sunrise Church moving forward through leadership development and mission and evangelism. You can do this by giving through all the regular means and marking Christmas giving projects. We know God works as we give, and we ask that He would bless you back as you bless His kingdom. God bless you as you give for the furtherance of His kingdom.